Takadosh Boker Or, Masechet Bava Batra, new Masechet, Perek Aleph. We're talking about the first chapter, Bet Amud Aleph. Remember the Bava Batra, we're going to speak about, first of all, different types of partnerships, and afterwards, damages, because all the Babot have to do with damages. Bava Kama, Bava Batra, Bava Metzia. So all of them have to do whether we're going to speak about damages of neighbors, we're going to speak about chazakot, about making a chazakah, then we're going to speak about selling in different forms of acquisitions, we're going to speak about inheritances and wills, and then we're going to speak about documents and different things like that. So first, we're going to start with partnerships. So Bet Amud Aleph says a Mishnah, Shutafim, Shiratzu la'asot mechitza b'chatzer. This happens, by the way, many, many times, where they used to have backyards together, and there was never a gate. There was never a gate in between. So we're sharing a common backyard. Now, it's true, my backyard is this half, but there was never a gate. So what happens now if you have Shutafim, you have the partners, now that they want to make a mechitza in the chatzer, right? They want to put up a mechitza. So bonin et kotel ba'emsa. So you build it in the middle, okay? Which means that you're always going to build it in the middle between the two, okay? Makom shenagu livno gvil, kazit, kefisin, levenin, bonin, hakok minag medina. Let's say I want to put up a chain fence, and you wanted to put up a wooden fence, or you wanted wooden, and I wanted metal. I want metal, you want plastic. So, in a place where they put up gvil are stones which are not sanded out. They're not like, how do you call this? That they make them smooth and everything. So, the gazit are avanim, which are smoothened out. Kefisin are half bricks. Levenin are full bricks. Bonin, you do build it. Whatever the minhag medina is. Meaning, whatever the minhag medina is, that's what you do. Fine. Gvil, if you're going to now build gvil, each one has to give 3 tfachim. Because I'm going to ask you a question. You put in the middle, but now 1 second. But the wall itself is a thickness. She says, you're right. You put it exactly in the middle. So therefore, this guy has to put 3 tfachim, and this guy has to put, because it's a 6 tfachim thickness. So each one is putting half of the thickness. Okay? If it's going to be, now that was to do with the gvil, because remember, since they weren't smoothened stones, so you need 6 tfachim, which is 6 times 8, 48 centimeters. Okay, almost half a meter. Yeah, we're talking about, so it's thick stones. Okay, if it's gazit, which is basically going to be the ones which are smoothened stones, so each one has to give 2.5 tfachim. If it's going to be half bricks, each one is given to give, right, 2 tfachim. If it's going to be levenin, full bricks, each one is going to give 1.5. Right? Which means that each one is giving half the space. And therefore, if it does fall, so everything belongs to both of them. What does that mean? The wall falls. If right now we have a minhag medina, and the minhag medina is that we always put it in the middle, plus we divide it between the two. So therefore, if the wall falls, it obviously belongs to both of us, right? Also the space and also the bricks. It only makes sense because once it became the minhag medina, so therefore it happens, okay? So he says, v'chen begina. The exact same halacha would apply not only to do a chatzer, because we were talking about in the first part of the Mishnah, the chatzer is the courtyard, which that's where they used to do their things. Here we're talking about now a garden, okay? By the way, the courtyard was usually in front of the house. It wasn't like a backyard. It was like the front. Okay, now here the same halacha would apply to do with the garden. If there's a minhag to come and to put up a fence, they obligate you to put a fence. But when we're talking about a valley, if the minhag was not to do it, we don't obligate you to do it. But rather, if you want, you go into your side and you build. And you make the siman on the outside. By the way, this actually happened to me. I made my own fence. Now, beforehand, we used to have a chain fence between ourselves and the neighbor. Now, in Surfside, you were still allowed, it was grandfathered in. So if you already had it between the neighbors, you're allowed to leave it there. But now you're not allowed to do any more chain fence right in Surfside. You have to do a regular fence. What happened was we wanted to make our own fence. So what we did is that you can't take down that fence without their permission. So what we just did was we went into, no, with the neighbor's permission. Well, you also need permits and everything, but forget about the permits now. But even just the concept of the neighbor has to agree with it. So what we did was we koneste toch shelo, we moved into our property, we made our own fence, but then you have to make a siman showing that it's yours. So it's always the ugly part of the fence is towards them, and the nice part of the fence, which is the nice part, is towards us. So therefore, you know that we were the ones that put up the fence. You understand? So therefore, so you make a siman. So the same thing here. Here we're talking about a valley. A valley is not a garden. It's not a courtyard. So therefore, even though we both have our properties there, and we have like a sadit tivua, like a wheat field, I cannot obligate you to put a fence. So I come and I tell you, want to put a fence? No. So what am I supposed to do? So what you're allowed to do is that you come and you, how do you call this? You bring into your own property, meaning you have to go inside your own property, you put up the fence, and you make a siman showing that this is yours. Because if not, you don't need a authorization. It's your property. It's your property. Yeah, no, but that's why, right? You put a siman showing that it's yours. Because if not, then afterwards he could come and he could say, by the way, we built it together. And now you went into your own field, and now he even took part of your field. Remember, in the olden days, it wasn't that, even nowadays, it's not that simple to come, with the exact limits and this and surveys. You understand? Fine. Okay. So lefichach, therefore, right? Listen carefully. Therefore, im nafal hakotel hamakom avnim shelo. Right? What did we just say? In the case of the chatzer or the gina, where we're both obligated to build, so therefore, and you build it in the middle, so therefore, if it falls, the stones belong to both of us, and the space belongs to both of us because they put it smack in the middle. But here, since in the bika I go into my own property, and now it falls, so the makom and the avanim, the space and the avanim, they belong to me now because I went into my own property to build it, and they're my soul. I was only one. However, though, what happens in a bika? We both agreed. We said, you know what? Let's do it. Let's do a wall. So bonim et hakotel be'emtza. We build it in the middle, right? Ve'osin chazit mikan u'mikan. Now you make the sign on both ends. Basically, in the olden days, they used to make a sign on both sides. It was like they used to put sometimes like an extra piece of like cement or whatever it is on both sides. So they're able to see that on both sides they have it. Because if I would put it only on one side, I could go but I can't cut it off if it's on your side. So therefore, it's on both of our sides. And therefore, since it's like a siman, a type of a sign is on both sides, I know that it belongs to both of us, that we both did it. The fichach, and therefore, if the kotel fell, hamakom vavanim shel shnehem, it belongs to both of them. Okay? Fine. Very, very good. Next. Savrua, says the Gemara. Okay, this is the Gemara on Bet Amud Aleph towards the bottom. Savrua, they thought to say, my mechitza. What is a mechitza? Aguda, a wall. Okay, the Tanya, as we learned in a bright, a mechitzat hakerem shenifretza. When you have a mechitza that of the vineyard that broke, that was breached, Omer lo, you could tell him, Gedor, fix it. Right? Chazra v'nifretza, again it breached. Omer lo Gedor, he tells him again to fix it. Bet amubet, ityesh shimenu. What happens right now if the guy comes and he just said, forget about it, that's it. Velo gadra, and he didn't do it. Harez kidesh, now it's a sur. The tvua is a sur. The chayav b'chruta, now he's obligating me. What is this referring to? Do you know there's a concept of kilaim? Kilaim, right? What's kilaim? A prohibited mixture. But what is it? It's actually in everything if you think about it. Kilaim applies in clothing. You're not allowed to put tzemet, pishtim, wool and linen. It applies in animals. You're not allowed to put the short and the chamor together, right? The ox and the donkey together to plow. And not only does it apply in clothing and in animals, it applies in planting. I cannot plant a vineyard with another type of a fruit. Okay? Certain fruits, there's no problem of crafting. Crafting is, for example, I could put an orange and a grapefruit. I could put them together and make a type of a or for orange fruit, or I don't know what you would call it. You understand? You could do these things, right? But a vineyard, you cannot. So now what happened was, I've got my vineyard, and you have whatever it is, grain. So what happens is the wall breaks. So now there's a problem because if they grow together, it's kilaim. So what happens? You come and you tell me, fix the wall. So I come and I fix the wall. It breaks again. Again, you tell me, well, fix the wall. I fix the wall. By the time after, all of a sudden I just said, forget about it. How many times can I fix the wall? Yeah, how many times can I fix the fence? It's very difficult. So what happens? I didn't fix it. So he says, you're going to be chayav on the on the kilaim, okay? And therefore, not only are you going to be chayav on the kilaim, you're chayav b'achriyut, which means I have to pay you for your grain, which was lost because of the kilaim. Okay? The vineyard guy, yeah. Yeah. Okay? So now, says the Gemara, the reason why Betin could come and obligate each one to come and to build the wall is because they both agreed. What happens if they didn't want? Imagine, they didn't want to build it. So what happens? We're not going to obligate them to come and to build a wall. Almas, you see from here, Hezek Riyah lav shme Hezek. Hezek Riyah is not called Nezek. You know what Hezek Riyah is? Hezek Riyah is me watching you. Meaning privacy. We gave an entire shiur on this, on privacy and things like that. What does that mean? Right? I could come and I could tell you, you know what, listen, I want privacy. Let's build a wall. But if you're going to tell me that it's not considered a nezek, so therefore, I could be watching you the entire time. There's no problem. Right? But that's it. So you see from here, it's only because they both agreed to put a wall that you're obligating them to put a wall. But let's say they don't agree, you don't obligate them to put a wall. So that's a proof that hezek riyah, the damage of seeing, is not considered a damage. Because if it was considered a damage, I could tell you, yeah, I want you to build a wall. I could force you to build a wall. But if I can't force you to build a wall, so it's not true. So says the Gemara, no. Ve'emamai mechitza. But rather, what am I going to say what a mechitza is? Plukta. A mechitza is just a division. Kedichtiv, as it says in a pasuk, v'tehi mechitzat ha'edah. It's going to be half of the edah, meaning I'm dividing the congregation, right? And therefore, Kevan deratzu, since they both agreed to divide the field, we force them to build it against his will. So this is a proof the other way around. Okay? Which means like this, one more time. So it says the Gemara, if so, what does it mean that they wanted to make a mechitza? If you're going to tell me that that they agreed to divide, so then it just says sheratzu lachatzot. Chatzot comes from chetzi or mechza, right? Half. That means they agreed, but they didn't agree to make a wall. They just agreed to make a division, to do half. Elamai, but rather, what is a mechitza? Aguda, a kotel, a wall. So bonin et a kotel, bonin oto mibaile. So what does it mean that bonin et a kotel? Bonin oto. If you're going to tell me that mechitza means a wall, so why does it say bonin? Right? You say the sheratzula, so mechitza bonin et a kotel. What bonin et a kotel? Bonin oto. We build it. What is it? The mechitza. What is mechitza? The wall. So answers the Gemara. Itana oto. If it would have only said that we build it, hava mina, I would have thought to say b'mesipas be'alma. It would have been enough, even with reeds. Kamashmalan kotel comes teach you the kotel, meaning like this. I'm going to ask you a question. I agree with you that we're going to divide the field, but you know what we're going to do? I'm going to make a wall of reeds. You know what the reeds are, like like the canvas or all those things. What sometimes they use for the schach. So I'm going to put that in the ground. We're going to dig it in the ground, and that's going to be. Now, the problem, the way is, I could still see through, right? It does block a lot, but I could still see through. So what happens now? That's the question. Okay? Fine. So says the Gemara, Bonin et kotel be'emsa. We're in the two dots, okay? Until you're clear? Yeah? Okay. Bonin et kotel be'emsa. We're going to build the wall in the middle. Says Gemara Pshita, obviously. I don't understand you. If we right now come and we agree that we're going to divide our property, so obviously I'm going to build in the middle. Why wouldn't I build it in the middle? And so what's the case? One of them came and he asked to divide the chatzer from his friend. So I would have thought to say, listen, I only agreed with a little bit of the avid, but not on the tashmish, which means I never wanted to come and start making like a thick wall and this and that, because if you now make a thick wall, you're taking away from my space. When I went, I said, okay, fine, in the airspace, but not in the mamash in the actual space. And now you're coming, you're building a wall, and now it's coming. Because remember, these things, they take space from your, from your field. Okay? So says the Gemara, 1 second. The Hezek Riyah, so Kamashvalan comes teach you that he doesn't say that. That really meant the second that they agree, you build it in the middle. Okay? Okay. Next. The Hezek Riyah lav shme Hezek. Are you going to tell me Hezek Riyah is not called Hezek? Tashema, we're going to bring a proof. V'chen begina. The same halacha applies to gina. Remember, in our Mishnah, we had three things. We had chatzer, which is the courtyard. We had the gina, which is the garden. And then we had the bika, which is a valley. Okay, so he says, v'chen begina, also by a gina, right? What does that mean? In the gina, you're obviously obligated because of hezekriya. We don't want you to come and see. Imagine right now I could come and I'm going to say, Chaim, I really like your oranges. Ooh, your tomatoes. And your apple trees. Incredible. You're going to start saying, this guy, Shuf Einik is giving me Ainara. Get him out of here. Stay far away. I could obligate him. So answers Gemara, Gina Shana, Gina is different. Rabbi Abba, like Rabbi Abba. Dama Rabbi Abba, Marvuna Marav. Says Rabbi Abba, the name of Marvuna Marav. Asur le'adam la'amod biste chavero b'shashi omed b'kumateh. Do you know there's halacha? The halacha is you're not allowed to be by your friend's field, right, at the time when the fruits are growing. Why? Because of Ainara. Gemara Mefurashet, this is Gemara. Right? Gemara. What does that mean? So therefore, because of that, the rabbis obligated you to do it in a gina, right? In order not to cause Ainara to your friend. But maybe that's not in a chatzer. Meaning in a chatzer, it's because of privacy. It's not because of Ainara that I'm going to come and I want that it should be private or whatever it is. So you want, we're going to start doing different things. But if it's just going to be here by a gina, it's halacha. I don't want you to start putting an Ainara on everything that I do or on everything that I have. So it says the Gemara, 1 second. But it says the word v'chen. Ha v'chen kitani. When I say in English also, imagine I'm going to say, by the way, this and this, or in the same applies to this. It means selam and shos. So when I come and I say v'chen begina, it means that the gina is the same halacha as the chatzer. So what are you telling me? No. Gina is different, but it has a different halachot because of Ainara. Well, you just told me v'chen. V'chen means and also by the gina. So he says, no. When I said the word v'chen, I was going back on v'chen, agvil v'gazit, meaning whatever you build it with, the material that you build it with, not the reasoning. Meaning, what is the reasoning why you have to put a wall by a gina? Ainara. What is the reasoning why you put a wall by a chatzer? Because we both agreed, because we wanted to do our things privately in our chatzer. But you said the word v'chen, which means and also. It says, no, what I meant, v'chen, and also, by the gina, when you're going to put the wall, you could put it, hakol keminhag medina. If it's gvil, gazit, like all the different types of the bricks and everything, meaning it's going on the building materials, but not on the reasoning. The reasoning, each one has its own reasoning. Gina is because of Ainara. Chatzer is because of privacy. We both agree, but it's a different reason. Fine. So the Gemara is going to bring another proof now. Tashema, we're going to bring another proof now. Kotel chatzer shenafal. What happens if we already have a wall? We have a wall between us, and it falls. You have to build it again until 80 centimeters, till 4 amot tall. So says the Gemara, so you see from here, that there is a concept of hezekriya. Why? Because that's it, right? This is already. Now the truth is though, you could still ask that 80 centimeters is a little bit short, right? But the concept though is that you obligate him to start building a wall, okay? So what happens? So he comes and he says, right, nafal shani. It's different. You know why? Because there was already a wall. Meaning, if there was already a wall, so I could obligate you to rebuild the wall because it was there before, because it was already a wall. So says the Gemara, udkarila my karila. So then what have a meaning of the question? Obviously, if we already had a wall and now it falls, I could obligate you to build the wall again because it was already there. Meaning, if I come and let's say we have like a division between parking spaces, and now something happened, but I could still obligate you because it was already there beforehand. To make something new, I agree with you. Then we have to agree. But if there was already something there, but you can never change from the status quo of what it was beforehand. You can never change it. You understand? For example, here on Harding, right? The restaurants, they put tables on the street. Do you know that after they already do that and they have the permissions, it becomes a chazakah? you cannot stop them afterwards. I don't know how it is in common law, but I'm saying, but in meaning mitzad halacha, once there's a certain status quo that they're given, that's it. So if we come and we already have a wall there, even if it falls, obviously I'm going to obligate you to make the wall again. Yeah, obviously I'm going to tell you, listen, I want the wall. So the question is, what's the hava meaning? So you know the Gemara answers, the seifa is the chidush. Seifa tzichaleh. Me'arba amot ulmala em mechayvin oto. What happens if the wall was 6 amot? You only have to do 4. That's the chidush. Meaning I have to do the minimum, and the minimum is the 4 amot. You understand? So, which is actually very, very good, because 4 amot. What did I tell you before? 4 amot. It's 1.92 meters. It's here. Usually it's higher. It's almost 2 meters. How much is a human being? Yeah, 170, 180. So this is 192. So this is perfect. You understand? This is 192, 1.92 meters. Okay? So that's what he says over here. We don't, that is, even though we had 10 feet or whatever it is up there, no, you only do 1.92 meters. Okay, next proof. Tashema, we're going to obligate you to build a bet shar, which is like a, how do you call, like a gatehouse, and a delet and a door for the chatzer. What does that mean? That means we come and we start obligating also that we don't want that the Reshut Rabim are going to, so we come and we make a gatehouse and we make a door. Meaning we don't want the people should start looking into our properties. So Shema Mina, Hezek Riyah, Shme Hezek. So this comes to teach you the Hezek Riyah is called the Hezek. Answers the Gemara, Hezekah de Rabim Shane. Yeah, what does that mean, Hezekah de Rabim Shane? Here it's Rabim. There's a lot of people. You understand? Meaning, here, Hezekah de Rabim Shane, there's a lot of people. So obviously it's a Hezek. You can never compare a Hezek of one individual or his family, which are your neighbors, and everybody that are on the street. There, for sure, we would obligate them to build it. Because there, everybody's, imagine every single person walking by, look, he's having a barbecue. Look, he's by his pool. Look, he's they're going to say, every single person walking by. You want to have privacy. There, for sure, we obligate you. But if it's just going to be the neighbor, it's all the same thing. So says the Gemara, you're going to tell me that by Yachid there's no problem? Tashema, let's see another proof. En cholkim et hachatzer ad sheyeh b'arba amot lezeh v'arba amot lezeh. I'm going to ask you a question, right? Imagine right now we have 6 amot between us. Can I obligate you to build a wall? Answer is no. We never divide a chatzer unless you have enough usage for each one. So if right now in front of our house we only have 6 amot, 7 amot, and if we would divide it, we don't have 4 amot each one, so we don't divide it. Because it's so small, we don't want to come and start dividing things, but it just doesn't make sense. So says the Gemara, so 1 second. If there is enough 4 amot for each one, holkin, we do divide it. My love bekotel, isn't that a proof that we do it with a wall? And therefore this is a proof that even for an individual, we say, hezek riyash mehezek. And so the Gemara, no. The same answer that we answered before. Maybe we obligate you to divide it, but you just put reeds. You put like these things in the ground, and that's it. So okay, fine. So let's bring another proof now. Tashema, hachalonot. When we're gonna build a window, can I just open up a window wherever I want? Obviously not. Why? Because if I'm gonna open up a window, maybe I can see right into your room now, and now it's a problem. So he says milmala ben milmata, whether it's above or below, uben mikinigdan or in front of you. He says, arba amot. You need 4 amot distance. Okay? V'tani alan, we learned, milmalan kedesh lo yetzitz v'yireh. Above, in order that you wouldn't be able to see down. Milmatan, below, kedesh lo yamov v'yireh. In order that it shouldn't stand up. V'kenegdan kedesh lo yafil. Meaning like this. Imagine right now, I've got a window. If I want to open up a window, and you've got a window over there. So if I'm going to be above, I have to make sure that it's going to be above the daled amot. Why? So that way when I look down, I still can't see inside your window. Because if not, the angle is straight in, I could see your window, I could see everything that's going on in your house. The same thing below. If I'm going to do the window below, all I have to do is stand up on a chair, and I'm going to be, and then I could see. So therefore, no, you have to make it 4 amot above. So therefore, even if I stand up on a chair, I still can't see inside your house. And kenegdan in front of it, opposite, in order that it doesn't darken your house. Okay? So answers the Gemara, no. Hezekah de bait shani. That's hezek of a house. there's a difference between a house and a chatzer. Your house is your private house. You do private things in your house. In a chatzer, usually you don't do that much of a private things. At the end of the day, people could still see. So therefore, because of that, a house, you're right, 100%. When you come and you want to open up a window and no. There you need the daladamot here, daladamot there. You know, the differences. There you're right. Because that's a house. We don't want you looking into the house. But in a chatzer, in a courtyard, everybody, it's much less of a problem. Yeah? It's done? Tashema, we're going to bring another proof now. Damar of Nachman Shmuel says of Nachman Shmuel, Gaga samuch lechatzer chavero. When you have a gag which is samuch to the chatzer chavero, so you've got a roof which is right beside the chaver, your friend's field, right? Your friend's courtyard. Well, sino maake gavor bama. You have to make a maake, which is like like the gate, the fences of for amot. So answers the Gemara, no, shanatam there it's different. Damar lebala chatzer lebala gag. The bala chatzer to the bala gag. I always do things in my field. You don't always. But I don't know when you're there, right? And the itztanya minach that I have to come and have to watch myself over for me. You understand what happened? Meaning like this: I'm in my field, I'm in my chatzer, so I do different things. I hang up clothing, I do this, I do that. Now you're on your roof. I always am here. You're not. You don't always go to the roof. You once in a while go to the roof, but I'm always here. The thing is, I can never know that you're there. Because since you're on a roof and you're higher up, I can never know that you're up there. Even if I look up, I don't see you as you're not. Only when you come too close, I could see you. So because of that, I don't know when to hide myself. So since I don't know when to hide myself, I could obligate you to make the wall, right, like a fence for amot, in order to block off that you don't, because of the kaviyut of tashmishet. Again, all this Gemara is just trying to say, does there exist a concept of hezek riyah, that the looking is even called a hezek in itself?